Welcome to the world-renowned Invest in Her podcast with your host, Catherine Gray. Catherine is a keynote and TEDx speaker, author, executive producer of the movie Show Her the Money, also CEO and founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Our weekly show of powerhouse women, founders, funders, and change makers is sure to inspire you. Let's go.
Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Of course, executive producer of the movie Show Her the Money. We're so happy to have you tuned in with us today. We have on a special guest. Her name is Tina Boyd. We're going to be talking about women investing in real estate and private money lending. What is that? So please welcome to the show, Tina of Property Angel Partners and Grit and Polish Consulting. All right.
Thank you.
How you doing? I said consulting, but I meant coaching, but it's kind of all the same, right?
It sure is. It sure is. All good. But thank you. I'm glad to be here. Excited.
Well, yeah, I'm excited because, normally I'm talking about venture capital and alternative, investment assets that, people, I think women especially need to be focused on. And I love that we're going to expand today and talk about, private money lending and investing in real estate and getting groups of people to do that. I think especially for women, expanding their real estate portfolio is super important. And with women coming into more money than ever in history, what a great time to be talking about what to do with that money, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Tina, let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got into creating the Property Angel Partners.
Started approximately about 3 years ago. I was still working my W-2, been in HR for about 20 plus years. And an ad came across my social media.
Just for the record, that doesn't look possible, but okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But an ad came across for a mentorship. It was $17 for almost like a week. And I said, this can't be real. Anyway, it kept popping up. And I paid the $17, took the master class, and then I joined the mentorship at the time. And so that is how I got the bug for real estate. But when I joined, I wasn't real sure what my focus would be. If I wanted to do buy and holds, if I want to be a wholesaler or private money lending. And I landed on private money lending, but there wasn't a lot of training or guidance on how to become a private money lender. So that was my area of focus. I reached out. I was blessed enough to have someone locally who's in the same mentorship actually introduced me to her private money lender who was actually in Las Vegas. And we jumped on a Zoom call and talked about all things private money lending. She shared a lot of knowledge, documents and forms and whatnot, checklists. And so that's kind of how I got started in private money lending. And I love it. I really do.
That's an awesome story. There's always a story, when you're meant to be doing something, it just kind of seems to come into your, arena and come on like a light bulb, right? Like here you are in corporate America. I always talk about this, like, you're an inspiration to other women that are in corporate America deciding what else could I be doing? And, there's so many things that you could be doing, entrepreneurial things, but also investment things that can help build your wealth. And I think women just have to focus more on that because building wealth is building freedom and the ability to help other women, right? Either with donations and or with investments to help them to grow their businesses. We're all about that, investing in women-founded funds that are investing in women can be very lucrative and make a tremendous impact. But like I said, it's so important to have that diversity in your portfolio, right? And real estate is one of the biggest wealth builders in our country. And so if women are not investing in real estate, they need to be. And that's where you come in. So they could find out about Property Angel Partners I understand you have a Facebook group, right?
I do have a Facebook group. It's called Women Flipping the Script, a PML sisterhood. And we are over 500 strong. And it's all what I pride myself on is providing solid content for those who are members of the group. We have some people who are coming in who are new to private lending, very green. And then you've got some people who are very seasoned. So it kind of balances out. But I hold that group near and dear to my heart. A lot of women are doing fabulous things who are part of that group as well.
So the PML Sisterhood, tell me what that stands for.
Private money lending
Private
sisterhood.
money lending. And what I'd like you to do, I want people to walk away from the podcast understanding what private money lending means and why they would want to be a part of your sisterhood.
Okay, sounds good. What is private money lending? Private money lending, these women in this group, we lend our own personal funds. This is not an industry that's regulated. We are not have any sort of federal protection. We are lending most likely from a self-directed IRA, or you're lending from some people utilize their HELOCs, some people utilize personal funds, or you may have colleagues or family members who have money sitting and they see what you do and they said, how do I become part of that? And they don't necessarily want to become active, but they'll put their money in the pot, so to speak, and you connect them with a borrower, and so that they can, lend out their money. So that is pretty much what we do. We support each other. It's a group that I welcome feedback from the other members in the group, so that, because some people are more experienced, like I said earlier, than others, being able to provide that, I want to call it sometimes tough love, so that we, why am I stuck? Because sometimes we get in our own head. And how do I change my mindset to be able to pull the trigger to make the deal? So there's a lot of support in that group for that. But that is how you make the money. And it's passive income. One of the other things that's fabulous about it, a lot of times you may loan someone money and find out that you really do like the project they were on. You may wind up buying the house. So now you not only are a private money lender, but you also have an investment property. So there's some opportunity.
So this is all with regard to real estate. So they come to your site and someone says, hey, I need a loan to buy a house. Is that the way that works?
That's pretty much it. They will show up. It's a little more deeper process, but in essence, they come with a pitch, or they have a pitch deck where they share what the property is, where it's located. What are they looking for? Because sometimes a borrower say, I'm willing to pay 12% in 3 points. I always tell everyone everything's negotiable. If you're lending from a self-directed IRA, you have an opportunity to place those payments on the back end instead of having to do the monthly prepaid, prepaid interest payments. So there's a lot of opportunity there to be able to fund these different deals. There's a lot of women who are doing commercial properties. I personally was on a joint venture for a boutique hotel in Georgia. So there's a lot of opportunities there to do some different things, getting outside the box and doing creative deals that you normally wouldn't think about doing. So there's a lot of opportunity there for women to make passive income.
And I love that example. So you had like a half a dozen women put up the money to buy a boutique hotel, something they probably never would have thought of, never thought that they could be a part owner in. And the 6 of you got together and put up the money to purchase that property. Is that right?
That is correct.
That is so cool. I just love what you're doing. I think it's amazing. And so the people coming to the community can be either investors or people seeking investment with regard to real estate. Does that include land or just like hard?
It includes land. It does include land. There are women.
Oh my gosh, I have somebody to connect you to about that.
There's a lot of people who are doing that as well. So I always tell people the world is your oyster. I always just tell the women that when you do it scared, but do it prepared. Making sure that you understand.
Tina, I love that. Do it scared and do it prepared, because every woman has trepidation about investing in anything. Like I just talked to a friend the other day. They're like, yeah, I keep everything in cash. I'm like, well, how are you going to build your wealth? I mean, you are so right. What you're offering people is such a great community for people to stretch themselves and start owning more real estate opportunities by pooling with other people or going in and helping another woman to actually buy a home. I think that is so great. And then do they need to vet them themselves? Like somebody comes in, they do their deck, they say, I want to buy this home. It's in wherever, North Carolina. It's for my family. It's our first home. We need whatever down to do that, maybe 10,000, 50,000, I don't know. And the investor can maybe get, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 10% instead of the bank's, 3 or 4% or less. Is that right?
It's a little different than that. Most of the primarily the loans that go out, these people are not living in the house. They're either going to they are either going to fix and flip it for a profit, or they're going to buy it and they're going to rent it out. Or there's people who do, what do they call it? Buy. I know I'm going to get this screwed up, but it's kind of like a rinse and repeat. You move in there, kind of house hack it, sell it 3 or 4 years down the line, and take the money out of that and go into the other, to the next property. But you were talking about, you were asking me about vetting. Vetting is so important. And I really teach that in my coaching master class of why it's important to vet. I always tell people, begin with the end in mind, have an understanding of what your loan box is going to look like. A lot of times when we first start out, you don't know what that is. Am I only going to fund for single family homes? Am I only going to loan on certain states? Because every state has or does not have, there's a few that don't, the usury laws, how much money, because some people loan money and don't know the state in which they're lending. You may have exceeded the usury laws, which could get you in some legal trouble. So having an understanding of what that looks like. Me personally, I only work with women. I fund women's loans. I don't fund for men. Like I said, we've never, most of the times, not had a seat at the table. And this is important to me that women have a seat at the table and an opportunity.
And you know what? It's so funny. Here's this like political pushback about, we shouldn't just be helping one kind of person, but women have been at such a disadvantage for so many decades. It's time we give them a leg up or give them a community like this to learn about this.
Exactly.
So I love this concept. It seems that your grit and polish coaching can coach them about how to vet, how to know what states to buy in, how to not make mistakes. I love this, Tina. I just think it's amazing. I think the reason people are fearful of trying out, investing in something is the fear of not understanding it, which is a valid fear. But if you have an expert to hold your hand and coach you on it, then I think it takes a lot of the fear away, right? And
it does, but you have to embrace it. And that's what happens. Sometimes people you'll coach and they'll still go off and do their own thing. Like I always tell people, you can, what is it? You bring the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And sometimes that winds up happening. I mean, I've had people wire money and didn't know if it was going to a title company. This is before you got to me. Or you've wired money on a property and the borrower that you're working with is not even listed on the property. So there's a lot of, oh my God, we've got some some stories. But the thing is, I tell people, this is not about finger pointing. What I want you to do is understand what went wrong so you don't repeat it going forward. And then you can always have the best laid plans and things still go wrong. I have someone now that I'm having to foreclose on for a myriad of reasons, but I've never had to do that with anyone. I've been doing this a long time. So there's a number of things you can have to, set yourself up as best you can. And still have things that go awry. But my concern is for those who don't do the due diligence, or she was nice. And I'm like, we don't do business because someone's nice. That's an added value, down the road.
I think women are really guilty of that.
Yes.
We want to do business with nice people.
Super nice. And I'm like, now you've gotten yourself into, I've talked to some women recently who got into some sort of multifamily deal. And new build, Everybody's bringing, I think, like $10,000 to the table, and they said nothing's been built. I mean, it's been over a year, nothing's been built. There's no transparency in the communication. They're frustrated. How do I get my money back? Because a lot of times they're doing deals that are outside. There's so many women in these groups that I'm in who need to be funded. I personally don't find it necessary that I need to go outside of those walls in order to fund someone's deal. So, not that everyone thinks like that. So, anyone watching this or who knows me, it's just like what I'm saying is there's a lot of women who need funding, and it's important that you know what you're getting yourself into. A lot of times, and there's women, I don't personally recommend this, but there's people who have lent money on their kids' college funds, the money they have saved for college, because they're trying to make a little money before their kids go to college. The thing is having an understanding, what is it I'm worth that I'm able to risk, that I don't get
I
back.
think that's with any investment, and that is what
Yes.
holds women back. But I think if they have somebody holding their hand that has an expertise in this, like you said, nothing ever is 100%, that's for sure. But guess what? When they put it in the public stock market, which so many of them seem so willing to do, there's no guarantee there either.
Oh, sure.
You know, definitely a lot of risk in buying individual stocks. And, you know, I always say the majority of the money is made before they ever hit the public market. Why are we also invested in the public market?
Yes.
You know, but real estate is one of it is the number one millionaire maker in the country, owning real estate, and not just your home, but like you're saying, additional assets. And so to have you, Tina Boyd at Grit and Polish coaching, holding their hand, teaching them all that you've learned over the decades, is certainly, I think, a service that is really something that a lot of women would be interested in. How do they get started? I think they just don't know how to get started. It's probably something they're interested in. And like you said, you know, taking from the retirement fund to invest in something other than what it's sitting in, which probably isn't earning a lot, and actually doing something that could earn a lot. You know, maybe taking 100,000 out and putting 25,000 in 4 different, you know, real estate opportunities where maybe you could double or triple, or at least, you know, make 8 or 10%, you know, guaranteed on your investment. So yeah, I love what you're doing. I think anybody interested should jump into your Facebook
Sure.
entity, which is called Women Flipping the Script, PML Sisterhood. And that's put on by your company, Property Angel Partners. Great name. And yeah, anybody looking to explore this real estate opportunity, more women do need to jump in. And with this largest transfer of wealth in history, I think women are going to be looking at what can I do to make an impact. And one thing you can do is what we're talking about today, which is invest in another woman that wants to purchase a property. You make a nice percentage, better than you could at the bank, like we just said. And then you're helping another woman to build wealth. And what could be better than that? You know, I always say this, I say it almost every week. There's an old boys club. They're all helping each other.
Oh, yes.
We have to create the same thing. And I always say, no one wants to belong to the old girls clubs. We got to put a B in front of it, the bold girls club, create our own networking of helping each other out. Men always invest in other men. Women have to always invest in other women. And real estate needs to be part of that picture. So thanks for bringing this to the table. Thanks for doing what you're doing. I think it's really great. And I'm so happy to be talking about this resource today on Invest in Her.
Yes, it's awesome. And one of the things I want the ladies to know, a lot of times people get intimidated thinking you need a lot of money. You do not need a lot of money. And the loans on tip, and I'm not saying there aren't long-term loans, but there's a lot of people like myself. My loans are probably 6 months with a 3-month extension. And that doesn't mean you can't extend beyond that, but some of these are like short-term loans, and your returns on average, people are charging 12% and 3 points. So it's a nice, it's a nice return. And I always tell people everything's negotiable. If you want to, you don't think you're going to make a lot, figure out what a flat rate is that you'd be comfortable with, that you and the borrower agree with. But there's a lot of money to be made. and women can come together and do that. It's just not that I've got 10,000. I'm like, well, if 10 of you have got $10,000, how much is that together? Then you can go together,
Right.
joint venture.
Pulling it together with a group.
Exactly.
And that's what your group does, you know, because they're like, well, where do I find that group? Well, you can find it in this group. So I love that. Any success story that you could share with us, and not to put you on the spot, because I didn't tell you I was going to ask that question, but
That is okay. It warms my heart when I see students who have taken my 6-week masterclass flourish, seeing them answer questions and being intentional about the answer, and giving a full answer versus I tell people, other than getting just a little Cliff Notes version of answers in the different Facebook groups. A lot of them have gone on to be successful in their deals and very comfortable in some. I have one right now who's working on what they call a pad split, which is co-living has become a big thing in the real estate market. But being very comfortable of getting that off the ground. It's just and it's not so much all that they've accomplished from a real estate standpoint. It's the mindset and the level of confidence that really warms my heart, that I can do hard things.
and that they can expand that into other investments. Because I always say we shouldn't put all of our eggs in one basket, right? It
Exactly.
should never all be in real estate, or all in the stock market, or all in venture capital, but
Mhm.
a diversification of all those things. So thank you for bringing the Women in Real Estate talk to our show this week. How do people find you, Tina?
They can find me. My website is gritandpolishcoaching.com. There's also propertyangelpartners.com. And you can reach me by email at tina@gritandpolishcoaching.com, and then find our real estate investment group, Women Flipping the Script, the PML Sisterhood. Just search that on Facebook and it will pop up. I'll have 2 or 3 questions you answer, and then you're in.
I love that. And I take it you're personally on LinkedIn.
I am on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We do have a business page on LinkedIn as well. So yes, you can find us there. We actually just started that business page, so I'm excited about that.
Okay, great. Well, Tina, everybody can look you up on LinkedIn at Tina Boyd. That's Boyd for those just listening today. Of course, you can find me, Catherine Gray, also Catherine with a C, Gray with an A on LinkedIn. One of my favorite places to correspond with people. Of course, we have our movie website, showherthemoneymovie.com. And of course, sheangelinvestors.com, where we do events and workshops. And of course, they invest in her podcast with amazing guests like I have today. So thank you all for tuning in, and make it a great week, everybody. Tina Boyd, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.